in the Golf R for another video. Let's get to this. Hi there guys, Sam here. Welcome back to another video, and you join me once again in my Mk7 Golf R, and I wanted to go through the exact costs of this car, how much it's cost me over the past 3 years of ownership. So yeah, I'll get straight into this video really. So yes, welcome back. You join me once again in the Golf R. It's been a pretty wet and horrible weekend, but nonetheless, the Golf R has proved me well. I haven't had a chance to go out and drive in it, but I may do later. Obviously 4-wheel drive, 300 brake horsepower. It's a fantastic car. Now, if you're not familiar with my channel, I have sort of started the channel with this car, and a lot of you guys know it quite well. A lot of Golf R owners know it, and yeah, it's sort of built a bit of a community around this channel, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. Now, the car wasn't actually bought to start a YouTube channel or a YouTube career in some ways, YouTube hobby. It was just bought for me. It was bought for a daily purpose. You know, I wanted to try something. You know, you can talk about all these amazing cars that you can own in your life, but until you actually own them, you never really know. As it turned out, a couple of months down the line, I then decided to share it a little bit on YouTube, and here we are today, 3 and a bit years later, and 1,327 subscribers stronger. So thank you so much for all the support. Now, I've written down here, I've gone through all my sort of like service history, the costs for each service, cost for any little sort of part on this car over the past 3 years, and basically to show you exactly what it would cost you in some ways. Yeah, from every sort of, yeah, down to the last penny basically. Now, I don't know the total amount, so do stay tuned to the end, because I'm going to be as surprised or as shocked as you are to see how much money I've ploughed into this car. And I'm quite interested to know myself, to be honest with you. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So I've got my little piece of paper here with all my notes. It's already got a little bit wet because, as you can see, it's horribly wet outside. You've already seen the car a little bit outside just from literally me stepping into the car. It's a limestone grey 3-door manual 2017 plate car. Yeah, it's a great car in summary. So I wanted to talk about when I got this car. So I purchased this car back late June 2017. So this is an April 2017 car, thus it was about 3 months old. It was an ex-demonstrator at a main VW dealer. Now, because of that, I managed to get a fair amount of a discount off the car for that period in time. I knew that the 7.5 facelift was coming out. I knew there was a chance for me to sort of sneak in as a cash buyer and potentially get a bit of a deal. So I felt I did, but it still cost me a fair amount of money. So this car cost me £24,950. So a hell of a lot of money. Yeah, I had a few sleepless nights after that for spending that amount of money. But yeah, here we are, still here. Cars proved me well, so absolutely no regrets. Now, when I bought the car, I kind of got ripped off a little bit because I wanted gap insurance because it's an expensive car. I knew if it was to get stolen or written off, I'd want to recoup the money that I basically paid from new. Insurance companies will pay you what they feel the value of the car is worth. Gap insurance basically covers the rest. So basically I'd get my money back should anything happen within the 3 years. That cost me £500. So plus £500. I may do a running total on the side, or I might just sort of do a screen overlay. I'm not too sure yet, but either way, I'm going to be talking through it. So there you go. That's the first initial outlay that you've paid on the car. So servicing, let's talk about servicing. So I've serviced my car at a main VW dealer each year. So the first year I had a service. This is just like a minor service, basic oil filter change, all that kind of stuff. I paid £207 for the first service. For the second service, I paid £286, which is again sort of minor service. Somehow it went up a bit more. For the third service, I paid £407, which was a little bit, yeah, a little bit more. But then I did have a few extra things. I had like the wipers changed and bits, but yeah, still quite expensive. That was over the course of 3 years. MOT wise, because this is a new car and because of the lovely coronavirus, I've not actually yet to MOT this car. It got extended for 6 months. It's due its MOT in a couple of weeks time, so I need to get that done. But MOT costs has actually been zero, so there you go. Something saved for having a brand new car. What else has kind of gone on? At 25,000 miles, so into ownership of the car, I had to replace all 4 tyres because they were quite well worn. I replaced them with Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tyres, fully fitted, that cost me £388. I did that 25,000 miles in, so plenty of life left in on them, but an expense nonetheless that you kind of have to do. You kind of expect it on a car like this. I was really surprised how many miles I got out of the car, to be honest with you, with that. Going back in time, when I actually had the car in 2017, sadly, within about 2 months of ownership, I actually had a cracked windscreen. That's another cost to me. I had to pay an excess on my insurance because you have windscreen cover claims, and that was £75 on top. So there you go. That's another cost added to the table. The wheels. So my car has diamond cut Cadiz alloy wheels, 18-inch wheels. They look nice. They look nice and shiny. Great wheels. Sadly, if you curb them, they're not so easy to repair. It's not like a case of like you can just repair them again and again and again. They only have a certain amount of life left to be repaired. Basically, you have to shave off a bit of the bit that you've curbed, and they basically replace it. Anyway, it's a specialist kind of work to get done. A lot of people powder coat their Cadiz wheels to avoid that problem because they've been curbed to bits. One wheel, front left. £78 I paid for that over in Milton Keynes. The subscriber actually recommended me that place, Rimtech, and they were really good and it looked great. I then consequently about a year later slightly curbed it again, but it's not so bad. Anyway, another cost to car ownership. Tax. In the UK, we have to pay tax to drive our cars on the public road. This car conveniently came in just when the new sort of tax regulations came in place. So most Mk7 Golf R owners will know that they pay well over £200–250 a year for tax. Now my car fell into a different bracket because they changed it all. It was sub £40,000 and it had a certain amount of emissions which weren't too bad. So I paid £140 a year on tax. I think it went up by £5 for one of the years. So overall for the 3 years of tax, £425. There you go, another cost. Lovely cost. Car insurance. Now, I've had this car throughout my late 20s. It's all personal car insurance. You know, I've never had an accident. I've had my license for what, 12 years now? Wow, I sound old and I feel old. So yeah, that's all personal. But over that 3 years, on average, it's about £450 a year I've spent on car insurance, which hasn't actually been too bad considering what this car is. So over the 3 years, that's £1,350 of my money. Now I have actually recently renewed my insurance and it's gone up by about £100. So we won't include that because I'm talking about the 3 years up to now. So there you go, lots of kind of costs added in there. What else do you have to worry about? Fuel, petrol. Now this varies depending what area of the country that you're in. I am around sort of like North London kind of way, and fuel prices are pretty horrendous. I have to look around and I find some nice places, but yeah, you're going to be paying a lot of money on fuel, on super unleaded or even like Shell V-Power, or what I tend to use is Tesco 99 Momentum. And I bang this into a fuel calculator for 3 years. My car's 30,000 miles old, so I've done average 10,000 miles a year, let's say. It calculates the car's sort of MPG and what you can really realistically get it as, and it worked out that I spent £903 a year on fuel. So total for 3 years is £2,704 on fuel, which is quite a lot of money. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on there. I think I've mentioned, to be fair, pretty much all of it. One thing to mention, depreciation. Depreciation is a cost that you will eventually pay when you come to sell the car. You would have lost some money. People seem to completely be oblivious about depreciation. Now, one of the reasons why I did actually buy this car was because I knew it was going to hold its value well. And to be honest with you, it has. I've done a check today on Auto Trader for 3-door manual Golf Rs with around 30,000 miles, around that sort of figure, on a 17 plate. Whether they're limestone grey or not, I've seen a couple of limestone grey ones. There's not too many actually about, because there's not too many Mark 7s about in that sort of age. They sort of went to the 7.5. And putting at the lowest figure of what I think this car is probably worth today, probably high teens. So £19,000 I'd say it's probably worth. So that's a depreciation of 3 years of £6,000. Now, just quickly on that particular point, my car before this, which was a Spirit Blue Fiesta ST Mark 7, which I loved. I still miss it today. I'm happy that my other half decided to buy a Molten Orange ST3 Mark 7, Mark 7.5 actually, Fiesta. I paid £19,500 for that car new, and I sold it for £9,000. So that car cost me £10,500 depreciation over 4 years. I don't think this car is going to cost me that much. So actually, I've gained a little bit, particularly as a cash buyer. I think that's actually not too bad depreciation cost. Time will tell when I sell it, if I sell it, all that kind of stuff. But those are kind of the overall little figures and the costs and stuff that you have to kind of consider when getting a car. Now, I'm fortunate that I'm slightly older now and a few costs are a little bit better than they would be. You know, it scares me seeing some things on forums from people paying anywhere from £2,000 to £3,000 to even sort of like up to like £5,000-6,000 a year for car insurance, which is money you are not going to get back. So that is very scary. Bear in mind that for the 3 years I paid £1,350 for 3 years. So yeah, each to their own, but yeah, expensive stuff. So those are the costs of the car. First of all, do I have any regrets? No. I actually like this kind of stuff, and my kind of calculation is very much for the long term of a car. You have to understand that I've driven this car 30,000 miles. It's got me back and forth to work. It saved me on commuting into London via train, which, as you know, well, as you may or may not know, per year from where I live, you're looking at about, if you include parking at a station as well, about £8,000 a year. Yeah, if I was just to get the train into London. So yeah, take that as you will, but yeah, I actually am quite happy by doing the miles in my car. Thank you very much. So total price, now bear with me because I've got to actually calculate this because I actually have no idea. So yeah, I'll be right back with you with an amazing reaction in about a few minutes time. I completely forgot there was one little extra cost as well which I had written down, and that is after about earlier this year, actually February 2020, I noticed the wheels, well, my steering wheel was basically slanted to go straight. So I knew it needed some sort of wheel alignment. So I actually got a 4-wheel alignment, being a 4-wheel drive car and wanting it to be completely right. That 4-wheel alignment at an independent sort of tyre place specialist, which were actually quite good, was £50. So that's another little extra added total. But that was actually everything. Yeah, that's basically every single cost that I can possibly think of over the last 3 years of this car. Now, I've been totting up the the scores, and it's, yeah, it makes for fantastic reading. It's a lot of money. So all in all, not including what I actually paid for the car total and not including depreciation at this time, my Golf R has cost me £6,470 over 3 years, which actually doesn't sound that bad. Bear in mind what I was explaining, how expensive public transport can be. That includes everything. So that's fuel, that's insurance, that's 3 years servicing, that's 3 years tax, that's the wheel refurbishment, that's the cracked windscreen, that's the wheel alignment, that's the gap insurance, 4 new tyres as well fitted to the car. £6,470 was my cost. Now, the only other cost that I haven't included is the depreciation. So depreciation is let's just say £6,000, as I mentioned, brings it up to a nice round £12,470 cost to me over 3 years. Which is a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's particularly a lot when you take into account the depreciation side of things. But the actual costs of the car, actually, I think are quite reasonable over 3 years. So that part hasn't really shocked me too much. I expected it to be, you know, £5,000, £6,000, something like that. If it was more than that, I'd be surprised. So £6,500 is not too bad, including the depreciation when I do come to sell the car, for it to be sort of in the £12,500. It's a lot of money, I'm not going to lie, and I'll probably have a bit of a sleepless night thinking about what else I could have done with that money. But on the flip side of things, I knew I would have needed a car. Cars all come with costs. You can't get away with it. Cars do not appreciate in value, not cars that you use every day. So you have to take those things into account. It's just part and parcel of life. So there's always going to be associated cost. And that's why I kind of said to myself, well, might as well be driving around in something really, really good. And like I mentioned about my Fiesta ST, that cost me a hell of a lot more in depreciation, even if I would save a little bit on servicing from servicing at Ford as opposed to servicing at VW. So it's all swings and roundabouts, but really interesting stuff. Anyway, I don't know if I've totaled up and put the, I'll put the total sort of by the side of me, or I don't know how I've kind of laid out this video, but I hope you found it interesting. I have. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think that's kind of a reasonable amount of costs. You know, you can spend, you know, people can spend like £45,000 on these Golf Rs, which is a crazy amount. And the chances are they probably would have lost a lot more money than I have. I felt I got in at the right time, and I was able to experience something that I never thought I would be able to experience in my entire life. And I'm so happy and kind of grateful for that. Disappointed I haven't really been driving it that much, but hey, this is just what's happened with the coronavirus and everything. But let's see what the future holds, and let's see what the future holds for the channel as well. You know, we'll just have to see. But thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please give it a like, share and subscribe. Plenty more content to come on this. Mark 8 Golf R stuff coming up. Loads of Mark 8 content in general. The GTI stuff is really, really cool. I do fast forward content on here, do Porsche content on here, and obviously I go on about my Mk7 Golf R as well. So yeah, please get involved in this like community channel, and yeah, all the support is really, really appreciated, particularly the likes, the subscriptions and the shares. It makes a huge difference to the channel, so please do contribute to that regard. But thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your week, and I will see you again next time. Cheers guys.